Nigeria, a nation many described as a giant of Africa, has been grappling with the challenges of maintaining an effective database since her independence on October 1, 1960, most especially in the area of childbirth registration. However, the situation is about to change for the better as the country prepares to digitalize the process of childbirth registration through electronic birth registration. It was in a bid to sensitize the public and drive advocacy on the huge benefit derivable from e-birth registration that the United Nations Children's Fund, Unicef, in partnership with the federal government through the Nigerian Population Commission and the Lagos State government, organized a two-day workshop for journalists drawn from both the print and the electronic media from the southwest states of Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, and Edo states as they gathered in Lagos for a media dialogue on how to drive e-birth registration in southwest Nigeria. In her opening remarks, the UNICEF Chief of Field Office Lagos, Ms. Céline Lafaucrière, described e-birth registration as a game changer and a key to ensure that every child has a legal identity in Nigeria, and would also help the country in generating valid statistics for effective planning.
For us in UNICEF, you are very crucial partners in support of our mission to ensure that every child in Nigeria is given the right to a legal identity. It is very key. It is not simply a procedural formality. It is a fundamental human right and the cornerstone, of a child's legal identity. Without that, the child remains invisible. A registered child has acknowledged rights to protection, but also to healthcare, education, and other critical services.
In his remarks, the Lagos State Director of the National Population Commission, NPC, Mr. Bamidele Sadiku, spoke on the enormous benefit Nigeria and the citizens stand to gain through e-birth registration, as it would not only eliminate the issues of double registration, but would help in providing the country with a reliable database devoid of controversy.
The issue of double registration, remove outing, and so many other things. And also to give identity to every child that is born and to every individual in the country. And the system will go further when we go into the session. We'll link up with the NIN. The CNEC is there already. The app is being finalized. There are many points, all the vital registration, be it birth, be it death, be it stillbirth, be it marriage, be it divorce, will be linked up so that you don't go to NPC and tell them this is your status. Once you go to NPC or NIN, you tell them your status as regards each of the events. It will be linked up to the other and will now have a common database.
Also speaking, Director of Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Mrs. Adeola Olabisi, who stood in for the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mrs. Tony Oke, called on all stakeholders to support the government in its drive to achieve a seamless registration process in the country.
This itself is not only in line with global best practices and seen in civilized climes, but it will help us as a government to fast-track the actualization of the sustainable development goal.
Similarly, the UNICEF Child Protection Specialist, Mr. Dennis Onoije, noted that every child needs a name and a birth certificate, which will ensure that every child is accounted for and protected. Mr. Onoije maintained that the government is targeting 928,523 birth registration of under 5 children in southwestern Nigeria before the end of 2024.
So we are thinking that if people have an understanding of why they must register children. So when you go to the hospital and the woman gives birth in the hospital, you should be asking, where am I supposed to register this child? And within the hospital, there should be a department, there should be a center in the hospital that should be willing to register that child immediately.
Participants also went on a field trip to the NPC office in Etiosa East LCDA in Lagos State, where the officials of the agency explained the workings of the e-birth registration platform to contain documentation such as birth and stillbirth registration, birth attestation, adoption, marriage notification, divorce notification, migration, and death. The e-birth registration is expected to commence before the end of July. Oluchi Amuda for Deadline.